episode 9 now. We're almost at double digits, Chris. As always, Joe Stafford, Chris Matthews, former Seahawk and Raven. Chris, my man, episode 9. What's going on?
What's going on, man? How's everything going with you?
To be honest with you, I'm a Patriots fan, so going pretty shitty right now. It's going pretty shitty right now. I'm looking at the deadline. I'm like, Bill Belichick might be a seller. Stephon Gilmore, defensive player of the year, might be out of here. Might be trading Sony Michel, former Georgia, running back star. Mm-hmm. I'm looking all over the place. I'm like, when is this going to happen? He's asking for a lot for Gilmore, so I'm like, maybe that won't come through. And then we finally get a trade alert. I'm like, Shefty, put something out. I'm like, I'm freaking out. And I look at it. I'm like, is it Will Fuller? Is it Julio Jones? Is it Adam Thielen? No, it's Isaiah Ford. it's Isaiah Ford. And I'm looking at my phone, and I'm like, Bill. I mean, to be fair, that's the most Bill Belichick trade deadline trade of all time.
Absolutely.
A conditional 7th rounder in 2 years for an unknown receiver from Miami of all places. It's like, come on, dude.
He's probably not even going to play as much.
Exactly. It's like, it makes no sense to me. I mean, like, you needed a receiver depth. That made sense to me. But why trade away a 7th round pick for a guy you're going to cut next year?
Mm-hmm.
You basically did a Mohamed Sanu trade with less draft capital. That's essentially what you did.
That's probably what he was thinking about, the Mohamed Sanu situation. And he was like, you know what, we're going to start off on a better note.
Yeah, but I'm concerned about Bill Belichick now. Can I tell you why?
Because Tom Brady's gone.
Well, yeah, one, but two, when you look back at his trade history, he really hasn't won a trade in like 5 years. Like, he hasn't.
Well, I think
it looks like a Chandler Jones, right? Chandler Jones, I think, was a 2nd round pick.
Mm-hmm.
You end up taking, I believe it was Jordan Richards with that pick in the 2nd round, the safety. He was cut 3 years after. He was a special teams bum, was not even worth anything, right? And Chandler Jones went on to lead the league in sacks twice out of the last 5 years, right? So that's a bust. Jamie Collins to the Cleveland Browns for a 3rd round draft pick. Mm-hmm. I believe you traded down twice and picked a kind of scrub like you always do. And then Collins had a Pro Bowl season the next year, so that's a bust. Mm-hmm. The biggest one that comes to mind is your guy, Jimmy Garoppolo, for a 2nd round pick. We turned down a 1st round pick from Cleveland for Jimmy Garoppolo. And then he goes on to say, or at least the story goes here, Belichick goes to Kraft and says, hey, I'm trading Tom Brady to San Francisco, because it turns out that John Lynch asked for Brady first because he figured they want to keep on the Garoppolo, which Belichick did want to do. Mm-hmm. And then Robert Kraft looks at him and says, you're out of your fucking mind. You're not trading the greatest player of all time.
Not trading my best friend. Exactly.
And then so Belichick says, fine, out of spite, trades him to San Francisco Garoppolo instead for a 2nd round pick, turning away a 1st round pick that could have been an impactful player for us down the road here. Just those 3 alone, and not even to mention Mohamed Sanu, we already brought that up, a 2nd round pick for an absolute scrub who's out of the league right now, who's bounced around from team to team. 3 teams this season. He's out of a job.
Well, he was hurt.
He was hurt, but he's also still out of a job. To be fair,
he's a scrub. He was hurt.
I think he visited Detroit as well after he got cut from San Francisco. We didn't sign him, and I think he visited Green Bay at one point as well, and that didn't work out for him. So either way, still a loss to New England, no matter what Sanu does anyway.
Yeah.
And look at that. It's like, is Bill Belichick on the hot seat? I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say so yet.
Hell no. I wouldn't say that as well, because that's just what he does. That's a part of his game, and it's been working. It was successful for him because he had, arguably one of the best players.
Stop your eye rolling. Stop it. You're like, arguably one of the greatest. He is the greatest, Chris. Come on.
He's not. No, he's not.
All right, we're doing a poll. Actually, so shout out to everybody else who's listening to the podcast, because we have some exciting news. Me and Chris haven't made the official decision yet. But we are going to hire a media intern to help us launch our official Twitter and Instagram pages to give you guys even more content. We'll let you know on that as we kind of go along here. But we have a couple of exciting candidates that have some significant experience in the sports media market already. They're motivated and they're excited to work with us. So keep your eye on the horizon. We will hire someone within the next week or so. So keep your eye on that.
Hit my line.
Yeah, hit Chris's line. I'm not important. Hit the famous one. Hit that one. Yeah.
Indeed. I'll check it out.
Exactly. So before we move on to the games here, I want to just go over a quick deadline thing. So we talked about Isaiah Ford, and obviously that's just not important at all. Like, he's not going to do anything. A 7th round pick in 2 years is not going to do anything. So let's move on from there. The Chiefs actually traded for a running back, or the Dolphins traded for a running back from the Chiefs, I should say. The Miami
Yes.
Dolphins have acquired DeAndre Washington from the Chiefs in exchange for draft compensation. That's a no-brainer for both teams.
Absolutely.
Myles Gaskin gets hurt from Miami. They need an extra running back, an extra body in that stable. And the Chiefs obviously just signed Le'Veon Bell, the bona fide superstar running back, to pair with their young rookie Clyde Edwards-Helaire. No-brainer for both teams. It was a good trade for both. Nothing really to talk about with that.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a good. It was a good one for both sides. I just really think that just having Le'Veon Bell over there grooming Hilaire is gonna be good. Because despite what you may think about Bell and his off the field antics with his rapping and stuff, which I actually listened to a couple of them. They're pretty cool, but he's a hard worker. And you see it day in and day out on his, during the off season, he posts up his videos. I follow him and I watch him. He's on the field every day and he's giving it up, throwing up every 2 minutes. He's a good hard worker, and I think that's going to rub off on Clyde Edwards.
Who do you think's a better rapper, Damian Lillard or Le'Veon Bell?
Le'Veon Bell.
Really?
Yeah, I'll go with Le'Veon. I like the little bounce, the little club hop. We haven't been able to go out.
Right.
You can see it. You can see it on me right now. I haven't been able to go out and hang out with my boys or anything, But that's the kind of rap. It's some of the rap that I like to listen to right now. I think it's the pandemic that's skewing my mind right now.
Yeah, I'm rolling with Dame Doll on that one. But speaking of clubs, New Hampshire's wide open. I went to a nightclub last week. It was awesome. My school fraternity rented it out. So the entire school went. It was crazy. It was a Halloween party. It was just insane. It was crazy. Probably have COVID, but probably work. Yeah, it was. I did not have my mask on, I have to say. I mean, if I went as a greaser, what greaser would wear a mask? Just think about that. If I'm saying, whatever. Anyway, back to the trade deadline, the important shit. Why are we talking about this? We got so off topic already. We're 5 minutes in. Anyway, here, the 49ers have acquired Quan Alexander, or have traded Quan Alexander to the New Orleans Saints in exchange for Kiko Alonso and some draft compensation. I'm assuming it's a 5th rounder less, probably a 6th or 7th rounder. The 49ers I think the 49ers hate to make this move in general, because Quan Alexander was a coveted free agent just a couple years ago, and now you have to trade him. A lot of injuries obviously have plagued the Niners this year, and that might be part of the reason why. And the Saints want to at least contend with the Bucs in that NFC South division. They get a superstar linebacker. And I guess the 49ers are hoping Kiko Alonso can stay healthy. I guess that's the only saving grace here. But what was your impression of this trade?
I mean, I think it was a solid one. It happens. It's a part of the game. Injuries happen, and I'm pretty sure they wanted to keep him. But with all the injuries that's going on, you have to be able to make some moves just to help out the team, because ultimately it's about the greater, the whole team, not just one player. And so, I think it was a good trade. We're gonna miss him, but hey, it is what it is.
Definitely. And before we move on to anything else here, I want to talk about 3 guys. Actually, I'll make it 4 guys that weren't traded, that should have been, or at least rumored to be on the market, heavily shopped.
Please don't give me Spike's list.
I'm not giving Spike's list.
Oh, okay.
I'm my own man, Chris. I'm my own man.
Stuff going on right now.
Don't worry about that. We'll talk about that later. I'll bring that up on. Actually, I'll bring it up on Boston's Big Three. Actually, speaking of which, do you want to come on an episode? We need to have you make your debut on the actual Boston's Big Three. Let's get you on that this week or something. But anyway, the 4 guys I was referring to. First guy, Takk McKinley, who then roasted himself on Twitter. He was like, they turned down a 1st-round pick for me last year when I asked for a trade. Then they turned down a 5th and a 4th when I asked for a trade this year. I only had 18 career sacks. Wait, are you trashing yourself to get off the team? Is that what you're doing? You're tagging your own stock?
That's what it looks like. I don't know if it's gonna work for him at any point, coming soon. But shoot. That's an agent thing. That's what that looks like to me. It looks like an agent thing. And he's like, hey, man, I just need you to cause a little bit of ruckus, and we'll get you up out of there.
I mean, I could definitely see that, but I just think the memes are incoming for Takk McKinley. If he say he turns it around, right, becomes a superstar in the NFL, star edge rusher he was drafted to be, then he loses a big playoff game, someone's gonna put that on Twitter immediately. The memes he's like, I suck at football. It's like, okay, you set yourself up.
It's never gonna show up, and he's gonna continue to actually suck.
We could. That's true. It's a lose-lose, really, if you think about it. But anyway, here, another guy, John Ross, who was vocal about wanting to get out of Cincinnati, has now been forced to finish out his contract with Cincinnati at the end of the year here. I was surprised he didn't get moved, especially considering teams like New England, teams like Green Bay, who wanted a guy to stretch the field. And Ross fits that bill. Cincinnati has him as like the 7th guy on their depth chart right now. What did you have to lose by trading him? I didn't really understand that move from Cincy. What were your impressions of him not being moved at the deadline?
I just think it's the way that he tried to go about it. You know, when you're being vocal about things like that, and you know that teams are much more known for being in-house, taking care of in-house things, you know, just being able to speak up and be vocal about it, you know, with the coaches or the GM or somebody like that, instead of going out and, you know, publicly saying it for everybody to, you know, to get in everybody's business, is not the way to go. So it kind of looks like a punishment type of a thing, but I'm pretty sure he's going to end up going somewhere else pretty soon. I thought for sure, if anything, that Green Bay would have tried to pick him up because they need some help bad on the offensive end.
Definitely. And I really can't think of a worse punishment than being forced to stay in Cincinnati. So that's a pretty the punishment fits the crime. I'm just saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you bring up the Packers. It's interesting you bring up the Packers in this specific segment, because the guy that was rumored all day, even a couple days before the deadline, Will Fuller, Houston Texan receiver Will Fuller. We said it a few weeks ago on the show that every Houston Texan receiver was on the market. Randall Cobb, Will Fuller, Brandon Cooks down the line. And it was rumored during the entire deadline period that Green Bay was heavily involved. They were waiting and waiting and waiting to pull the trigger and bring him to Lambeau. And it never materialized. There was some rumors going around after the deadline saying there was some miscommunication in the front office, and it was kind of a split front office whether or not it was worth it to bring him in for a presumably 1-year rental. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I am still so pissed at Green Bay. First of all, you take a quarterback in the first round without giving him help, right? That's strike one. Maybe even strike two. Might be 2 strikes right there. And then you fail, especially considering the rumors surrounding Will Fuller, Julio Jones, even Adam Thielen. And you fail to get your guy another weapon. If they got any of those 3 guys to Green Bay, they could be a favorite to win the NFC. Yeah, you lost to Minnesota this week. I think it's a blip. But if you introduce a dominant receiver next to Devontae Adams, with a guy like Alan Lazard in the slot, with a solid run game with Aaron Jones, I mean, if I'm looking at it as a GM standpoint, that's a no-brainer for me. So why do you think Green Bay didn't pull the trigger on Will Fuller?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with Houston, to be honest with you. Like I said before in the past episode, I just think that it was something that, you know, they were just trying to light a fire under their ass, to be honest with you, and you know, get them to step up a little bit more for Deshaun Watson out there who's slinging those balls for him. You know, and it actually worked because they've been picking it up. Especially Randall Cobb out there. You know, he's questionable right now for this week's game coming up, but he's definitely been the leading receiver so far in these past couple games. So I just think that it was just a ploy just to get him going, and Green Bay, you know, tried to thought they was going to be able to step in and snatch up actually a really good receiver in Will Fuller. But you know, it just didn't turn out that way. That wasn't their actual plans.
I feel like every episode we have, we find a way to sneak in Randall Cobb's name. Like even if he's injured, we always find a way to sneak it in.
Plug him.
That's my guy right there. Number 1 guest, Stafford and Matthews. Final guy on the trade deadline I want to talk about that didn't get moved was Stephon Gilmore, New England Patriots cornerback here, the reigning Defensive Player of the Year. The Patriots were asking for a first round and a player. That's a very high ask, but do you think teams were scared off by the price or by the fact that Gilmore has so few years left on his deal?
I think it's more so on the few years left. For me, that's what I would be looking for. You know, I want somebody that's a little bit more youthful, that's going to be able to become what Stephon Gilmore is, instead of already having him at his peak where it's so high, where you're not necessarily, trying to exceed expectations. And, a lot of teams is looking for that. They need players that's going to go out there and do more than what is asked for. And honestly, I might get killed for this, but Stephon Gilmore kind of seems like a role player to me. To be honest with you, like he just had things working for him in the past, and which is why he got Defensive Player of the Year. But I think it's just more of the system, and no, I don't think that would have been a good move for anybody who was looking for a player of his caliber at that age.
I'll defend Gilmore in that aspect because New England defense has just been horrific. They've been shredded all year. They don't have a pass rush. They can't stop the run. And it's hard to do your job when the rest of your team isn't doing theirs. It's not 1 on 11, it's 11 on 11.
But the pass game, they're locked down on the pass game. Every
they
game
have been.
They have 2 or 3 1 or 2 picks a game.
Yeah.
So that's what he's there for. He's a DB. He's not there to tackle. He's out there to lock people down and get picks. And that's what he's getting. So I see it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he should just, I'm glad he's still there with the Patriots and just try something new. But now, if I honestly, out of everybody, if Odell Beckham was healthy, I could see that happening. I could definitely see it. The Browns probably would have took Stephon Gilmore for him, just so he can help groom the young youthful players that they have over there, who's actually really good. Like Denzel Ward. He's a really good player. Couple of other DBs out there that he could potentially grow and become what he is right now, is a defensive stopper.
I like that. OBJ for Stephon Gilmore, maybe a pick and vol on either side. That's an interesting kind of debate there. I want to put that on our new instance. Actually, this is why we're hiring a social media manager in the first place, because we're going to have you guys be able to vote on this stuff, voice your opinions on what we actually say, not just commenting back on our Spotify or Apple stuff, but actually being able to talk to us and interact with us. We're going to be trying to become more available to you guys, so hopefully you'll be excited for that. All right, week 8 in the NFL season. Here we go. We're halfway done. Halfway. Yeah. Wild.
Yeah. And I'm
wild.
Fantasy.
Yeah, you know what? I'm on a 3-game win streak myself. I'm not doing too bad either. I won with Derek Carr as my quarterback last week. I'm feeling real good. I'm feeling real good.
My bye week for my quarterback is coming up real soon, so I might have to figure it out as well.
Who's your quarterback?
Patrick Mahomes.
Must be nice. But he's not better.
First pick, I went right off the board. I took him right off the board. There was no waiting.
But he's not better than Kyler Murray in fantasy right now. That's all I'll say.
I don't know.
I know. I just told you. He's better right now. Anyway, week 8 in the NFL season. Let's go with the Falcons-Panthers here. Falcons-Panthers final score 25-17. Falcons take the W here. And this is the second game in a row, I believe, the Panthers have dropped a game without their star running back, Christian McCaffrey. Was he back this week? I didn't get to watch the game.
I think he is coming back this week.
He went back this week. Okay, great. But in reality here, the Panthers have just dropped 2 of the last 3, 2 in a row specifically. They need their star running back. And it kind of serves the question for Atlanta's side. Did it even benefit you winning this game? Like, yeah, for morale, not losing the locker room, keeping the band together and stuff for that sake, but wouldn't it have benefited you to lose this game? Because you're probably going to draft a quarterback in this draft. So it begs the question whether or not it was actually, worthwhile to get this W to get your second win of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I see it, but nobody is going out there trying to take. Oh well, let me stop saying that. People are doing this.
Teams are doing that.
With all the major changes that has been going on with the Falcons. They need a confidence booster, a little morale boost. I could see them going out there like, oh, we got to put it to them, get this win. Because Panthers, that's a team that we can get that off, we can get them off, and that's exactly what they did. They ended up winning 25-17.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, the Panthers started so hot. Like, they were on fire the first couple weeks of the season. It's like, wow, they actually might be a contender and making the NFC South even more crowded. And now we're starting to see them reel back a little bit more. The Christian McCaffrey hole is clearly being felt right now. Mike Davis has kind of cooled off from a couple of few game stretches where he was dominant. Teddy Bridgewater is starting to show his flaws. 15 to 23, 176 yards, a touchdown and an interception. Average game from an average quarterback. That's what you're going to expect from now on. Do not expect late game heroics from Teddy Bridgewater. That's not who your quarterback is, Carolina Panthers fans. Just so you know, I'm sure you already do, but to emphasize that that's not who he is. Next game, which is a huge seeding game for not only the AFC North, but the AFC at large.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh remains undefeated at 7-0, taking down the Lamar Jackson-led Ravens 28 to 24. Chris, but I picked the Steelers.
Oh, you picked the Steelers?
Yeah, you picked the Ravens. Don't talk to me like that. I picked the Steelers.
I thought I picked them.
You literally have the helmet behind you.
I gotta go with the purple and black, baby.
You literally, I was like, dude, you literally have the helmet behind you. You did not pick Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I had to. It was going to be a game, and it was a game. It was a great game, to be honest with you. It was a nail biter. You know, Lamar Jackson. But hey, Willie Snead did an amazing job out there, man. He had 5 for 106 yards off of 7 touchdowns. I mean, off of 7 targets. Like, that's a really good game, man.
Yeah, and a loss.
All right. Yeah. That happens, but it's a part of the game, man. They came out there striking, and J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, they were balling. Those two running back, that running back tandem right there was balling right there for sure.
Definitely. And it was just not enough at the end of the day. Pittsburgh made some crucial stops, a lot on third down, to really force this game in their direction. But I do want to shout out one more thing too. The receiving core of Pittsburgh is just so deep and so elite in so many different ways. Juju Smith-Schuster led the day, 7 receptions for 67 yards on 8 targets. Eric Ebron, the coveted tight end free agent that went to Pittsburgh this offseason, 4 receptions, 48 yards and a touchdown on 5 targets. And the rising star himself, Chase Claypool, who they're now calling Mapletron because he's from Canada, 5 receptions, 42 yards, and yet another touchdown off 9 targets. Pittsburgh remains undefeated halfway through the year. And it begs the question if they're going to lose it all, because this team's looking very, very good. I will say now they will not go undefeated. It's not a hot take. It's not a cold take. It's not a controversial take by any means, because to go undefeated is a very, very unique and rare thing.
Yeah, you have to go against Baltimore again. So
exactly, and I feel like even Cleveland plays them pretty close. They had to play Cleveland again at one point as well. Ben Roethlisberger, while he's shown me a lot this season and he's shown me he still has a lot in the tank left, is still prone to make some bonehead decisions. He did it a couple weeks ago. He threw 3 interceptions a couple weeks ago in one game. Like, he will eventually drop one game. So if you're betting on the undefeated season, don't switch your bet right now. Go with the under, because it's not going to happen.
I don't know. They're looking good. The defense is looking especially good, to be honest with you. And Joe Hayden is out there still looking like Joe Hayden from Cleveland days, where he was shutting down receivers left and right, and actually sticking his nose in there and getting a couple tackles as well on his own. So they're looking solid out there in Pittsburgh, and undefeated. It sounds like a long shot because there's a couple teams that you got, especially in your division, that you're gonna have to go up against again. But overall, they have a good chance. I wouldn't count them out per se. I would just be a little bit wary.
Gotcha. And you bring up Joe.
You still got the COVID tests and stuff going on. So
right. You bring up Joe Hayden. You brought up his Cleveland days, and a lot of people actually don't know this, but you actually were signed originally by the Cleveland Browns as an undrafted free agent. Mm-hmm. Did you go against Joe Hayden in training camp or something during that summer? How hard was he to shake? I know obviously it's hard because he's like 5'10", and you're obviously a bigger receiver. But going against Joe Hayden, what were your impressions of him just early in your career?
I think it was more so of he was just a smart guy. He paid attention to film all the time. Like, even going through practice, which every day is you work on something different every day, but just the little things of like certain routes that, certain route concepts that you keep on running. He just picked up on it extremely quick. I remember one time I ran a comeback, and he sat at 10 yards and did not move. Like, I literally ran past him because the route was at 18. I ran past him. He still sat there. I turned around. He picked the ball off. Like, he was just waiting for it. He knew it was coming. He seen the play. And, it was a wild one. We had a good battle, though, for sure, when I was out there.
That's not on you. That's on the Cleveland Browns quarterback. If he's sitting down to basically cover two, like, low on cover two front, and you just throw it right to, like, that doesn't make any sense to me. I wouldn't even make that throw.
I'm not gonna shit on a couple of players.
Who was that quarterback, by the way?
Colt McCoy, Seneca Wallace. Who else was there? I think that was it, to be honest with you.
Only two? Was that what year was that? 2013?
No, 11.
11.
Yeah. Who else was there?
Seneca, Colt, Brian Hoyer? Was he there yet?
Brian Hoyer was hurt.
But he was on the team.
Hurt, so I didn't really see him much. Like, throughout the time I was there, he would come in and out, do his treatment and stuff, and he would leave. I think he was just like coming off of surgery or something like that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, those are only two that I can remember for sure.
Elite quarterback room.
Seneca Wallace is a bad dude. Let's not hate on Seneca Wallace. Seneca Wallace is a good.
No, he was sick in college. I'll give credit what credit's due.
He was before his time.
He was sick in college. I'll give him that credit.
Absolutely.
He was dope in college, but I'm just saying NFL standards. Maybe not the best room in the quarterbacks department. Yeah. Anyway, where else would you get this story? Stafford and Matthews' elite coverage of a subpar quarterback room and battles in training camp. Like, where else do you get this? This is exclusive content. I love it.
Yeah.
Anyway, here, Miami and LA is the next game here. 28-17 final score. Tua Tagovailoa earns his first win as a professional quarterback against the Jared Goff-led Rams, who, by the way, stinks out loud. Jared Goff isn't good at football, guys. I've been telling you this for weeks. Yeah, he has a couple games here and there because he has an elite wide receiving room and a pretty goddamn good offensive coordinator in Sean McVay. But he's not good. He's not – Chris – he's not good at one thing in particular. His arm isn't overly impressive. He's not overly accurate. He's not intelligent, I'll tell you that. Doesn't have great pocket presence. Doesn't have great athleticism. What does he do well? What does he do? He game manages well. That's what he does. He's a glorified Teddy Bridgewater. That's what Jared Goff is.
He managed that well this time. He literally went 35 for 61.
61.
35 for 61. 355 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Like, that's crazy to me.
It is crazy.
For you to tell me that a guy has got paid $100 million, got a $100 million contract, and is out here having games like this. Like, it's just not good, bro. I'm with you. I am with you on he's not good train. Like, I wouldn't pick him from a can of paint, to be honest with you. Like, he is just out there on his own. I don't know what he's doing. But overall, let's just talk about the team overall. Like, I thought for sure that the Rams were going to go in and handle business and come home with a win.
I think we both did.
I don't know what it was. If it's the Lakers and the Dodgers winning and putting pressure on them, they feel like they have pressure on them. I don't know. I don't know why you even think like that, because you still got the Chargers that's right down the street from you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that should be the first thing for your mind. But that's what it looks like. It looks like they're worried about it because these guys was not playing good. Like, what were they doing out there? I didn't understand none of it. Like,
yeah, and it's not like
play calling.
Yeah, it was weird because Miami, like, they've been playing hot as of late. They've been on a good track for the last couple of weeks here. But to blow out a arguably top 10 team, 28-17, and make Jared Goff look silly in the process, and with a rookie quarterback, with Jalen Ramsey on the other side of the field, with Aaron Donald on the other side of the ball?
Jalen wasn't playing. He wasn't playing. He had an illness. He had an illness before the game started. They didn't confirm if it was COVID or not, but they did say he had an illness, and he didn't even show up for he didn't go out for warm-ups. But still, like, that's your time to shine. The next guy, I don't know who the next guy up is, but whoever that is, you need to, that should have been your time to shine against Miami. Like, everybody knows that Miami is a stat game. I'm not the greatest player out there. I wasn't the greatest player out there, but nonetheless, I knew that what type of game it was, and just having Tua out there, when he was 12 for 22, which he didn't have a great game. Let's just be clear here. I want to make
that's fair.
crystal clear. He did not have a great game. This wasn't even a game that I would say, hey, welcome to the NFL, because he didn't get hit by Aaron Donald. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't throw no key picks. He was throwing the ball actually pretty good, like he was doing in Alabama with the RPO throws and precision passing that he is known for. But overall, it was just an average game. Like, they wanted to manage the game for real well, because I'm pretty sure that they were thinking like, okay, Aaron Donald and the defense is out here. We need to manage this game a little bit for this rookie before he gets in over his head, and then turns around and the defense, Miami's defense, is catching pick sixes and stuff like that, and returning fumbles for touchdowns. He's like, hey man, all I had to do is just go out there and hand the ball off. Basically,
I think put the nail on the head there. I mean, he only threw 22 passes. He wasn't slinging the ball, I'll tell you that much. And once you look at it that way, I mean, I think you're absolutely right here. But I want to talk about one thing. You mentioned the $100 million man in Jared Goff.
Mm-hmm.
Can we just talk about the quarterback controversy that is paying $100 million of contracts to guys like Carson Wentz and Jared Goff, who just aren't good? Even Jimmy Garoppolo? We have to reset the market at some point. We have to, because it's getting out of control and out of hand so quickly. They're taking up roughly 40% of that salary cap. 40.
Yeah.
That's unacceptable. You can't.
I've been saying that for the longest, and nobody wanted to listen to me. Oh no, you can't do that. Quarterbacks, they're the best. That's the best position on the field. Like, damn that.
You really can't win like that.
You need to drop it, because you need to have more money to be able to pay other players to come in who want to play for these quarterbacks out here.
Exactly.
Like, I'm pretty sure if you was to drop down Jimmy Garoppolo's, which is my guy, I'm for him, but drop his contract down and bring in some extra talent.
Or to start
why weren't we in a race for AB? Like, that's what I didn't understand. Like, our name should have been at the top of the list with all the injuries that we have.
I don't think AB wanted to go to San Francisco.
I know, but money talks. Let's just be real. Like, nobody's gonna pass up no money.
Whole lot of money. AB, whole lot of money. Mr. Moneyman over there. But yeah, great point, 100%. Miami takes W, and Jared Goff looks silly for the second straight week. Love seeing that. I love seeing that. Anyway, here, the Chiefs and the Jets. This will be brief. The Jets. The Jets did exactly what it's comforting almost to have teams be this bad all the time. It's comforting because you can count on it. It's something you can count on during your week to make you smile a little bit. I count on that every week. I look to my roommate and I see him just frowning and crying a little bit because he keeps losing over and over. It's just a nice feeling because I'm not struggling alone. Because the Patriots have lost so many close games over the last 4 weeks here. I looked at Trevor. And I see the 0-8 record, and I just smile. And I'm like, you know what? At least I'm not that guy. At least I'm not a New York Jets fan. That's what I say. But this was expected here. 35-9 is the final score. One thing I do want to look at in it here, obviously Patrick Mahomes is a lead as always. 31 of 42, 416 yards and 5 scores. But one thing I wanted to look at, Le'Veon Bell. He had 6 carries for 7 yards. Not a great debut. And receiving, I don't think he had a catch. Did he ever catch?
No, he did. He caught a screen.
He got 3 screens, 3 for 31 on 3 targets. I don't know. I mean, obviously it's the first week in the offense. You still have to get acclimated and everything, but I don't know. I was expecting more. It's the Jets. It's a revenge game. It's like the first time you're facing your old team. Like I would want some fireworks. Yeah,
that's exactly what I was thinking. I thought they would have for sure had some funky little formations for him and, let him get off against his old team who, basically just sold him up the river. But it didn't happen. I'm pretty sure it's going to get better for him once he gets a little bit more comfortable with the offense and Patrick Mahomes and company. So I'm not really worried about that. It'll get better. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, I feel like you're probably right about that. Vikings-Packers here, a shocker really. 28-22 final score. The Packers dropped to 5-2. And I really can't believe I'm saying this on air. But Kirk Cousins just outdueled Aaron Rodgers. Kirk Cousins, Captain Kirk, the choker, and not the Joker, the choker, Kirk Cousins.
This is the thing. And, I'm always for wide receivers, but it wasn't like Green Bay's wide receivers was doing anything spectacular out there besides, David, Adams, making his plays. Everybody else is pretty much subpar, like dropping balls, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just didn't look good. And they were playing, it felt like they needed to do more because their defense was so bad. It was like, we got to make it play. It just felt like things were, he was trying to force things out there, and it just didn't work out for him.
Yeah, it's fair enough. And I do want to have some clarity here. I wasn't actually serious saying Kirk Cousins outdueled Aaron Rodgers. It was a joke. He threw 14 passes. Like, just look at the stats. 11 for 14. This is obviously Dalvin Cook's game. 30 carries, 163 yards, 3 scores on the ground. And then led the way receiving for 63 yards on 2 receptions and a touchdown. 4 touchdowns from Dalvin Cook. This dude is a bad dude. This is a bad dude. Top 5 running back or top 3 running back? You tell me.
I give him top 5.
Top 5? Top 5. Top 3 is ambitious. Top 3 is ambitious.
Yeah.
I'm an ambitious guy, though, Chris. I want to say top 3. I want to say top 3.
I see. But he's definitely top 5. But it's. I just want to say this about Green Bay's defense. I don't think is that they're just that bad. I just think that Dalvin Cook is just that good. Like, he is a monster when he touches the field. I mean, when he's healthy, like, there's no telling what he'll do, And, it's unfortunate throughout his career, he's had a couple of injuries that's held him back from, like, to me, honestly, what it looks like he could have, like he could have still, even though as his life, his tenure in the league still goes on, but he could be having a Hall of Fame career as of right now if he was, if he wasn't hurt throughout the past years. Like, it could look like that right now, especially the way he's running the ball.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but the thing that you brought up, it still worries me. The injury concern is very, very real for Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
And guys, this is the reason, and a lot of you guys might be running backs, and I apologize. Actually, you know what? I don't apologize. Screw that. I don't apologize for anything. This is why running backs don't get paid historically, because they have a small shelf life. They get hit every single play, and they typically don't last as long as a contract warrants paying that amount of money. That's just how it works. The average running back life in the NFL is 3 years. Like, that's not a coincidence. They just get hit more than everyone else in the field. They get hit harder than anyone else in the field, and they just don't last as long. I'm sorry. That's just the reality of it. Yeah, are they exciting? Yes. Do they add a huge dynamic to your offense? Of course they do. Look at Derrick Henry. He changed the entire running game in Tennessee.
Absolutely. Shoot. But in the league, period.
In the league, period. Yeah, you're right. But this is why running backs don't get paid. Guys like Dalvin Cook, elite talent levels, but can't stay healthy. This is the exact reason why. This is the case study called the Dalvin Cook effect.
I think they should start changing up the contracts for running backs when they first get into the league. Because you have to wait your time, play your 5 years out, and then let's see what kind of numbers you're putting up. I feel like they should shorten that up for running backs, especially with the shelf life that they do have. I mean, if you're getting your money's worth from a rookie in his first 3 years, why not after the first 3 pay him the money and allow him to flourish even more? Yeah. So by the time years 7, 8 comes around, you're not sitting up here worrying, scattering around looking for another running back or debating if you're going to pay somebody or not. Like, you might as well just go ahead and give up that money first, allow him to stay there and feel happy, feel like he's needed, and keep it going. And then once year 6, 7, 8 come around, then make your decision from there.
And point taken. I think that's a very player-oriented type of view, and I would tend to agree with that. But I just think from ownership level, from GM level, they won't want to pay these guys on rookie deals still. Like third year is still under control most of the time. 4 years definitely, and even sometimes 5 years is drafted in the first round. It's becoming more and more common to have a first round running back taken in these drafts. So will the owners succeed that point and just pay him a lot of money during his rookie contract? I'm guessing not, but I'll raise a different suggestion. I think in the NFL over the next few years, you'll start seeing more NBA style contracts, adjustable rate contracts. You'll have more option pay. You'll have a lot of different flexibility with what years you pay certain guys. If look at Christian McCaffrey's contract, right? It's close to $100 million. Yeah. Maybe they should be able to front load that a little bit more flexibility with how they can do that. Maybe add an option as to say like, hey, I'll pay you $20 million this year and I'll give you a 2-year opt out or something like that. So something like you can play with a little bit more, because if you start doing that more overall, more players will, first of all, want to go to your team because it gives them a better ability to either succeed in your system or get out or get paid and then get out. It's player oriented also, but it's also team oriented. It's pretty much a gamble on both sides and actually evens the odds for players as well as owners. I think it's a worthwhile idea for the NFL to look into, for the NFLPA to legalize as well. So keep your eye on that. It's something to keep your eye on and just.
Well, I mean, the only way that's going to happen. That's the only way that's going to happen is if they start guaranteeing contracts,
which they will.
But I don't think that's ever going to happen anytime soon.
But I agree with you. But I don't think it's realistic to do that anyway. I mean, look at the NBA. They have fully guaranteed contracts, right? That's a significantly less contact sport, and even then, a lot of the contracts don't work out. And then you see guys in the NFL.
But if you're telling me, all right, I'm guaranteeing you $10 million. Let's just say $10 million. I'm guaranteeing you $10 million and an option to opt out after your 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Rather than saying, hey, I'll give you $30 million, but 25 of it's guaranteed and you can't opt out. Like that just for me, I would take the guaranteed. All right, I'll take the guaranteed. It's shorter time, but it's guaranteed money. I'll go there for my two years, and if that third, if I'm feeling good after that second year, and I'll stay for the third, for the option year, just because I like the camaraderie that we done built together. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, if I would definitely take a guaranteed, and you would know that they're there. Like, I'm committed to this team if you start guaranteeing money.
Yeah, I could definitely see that as well. I mean, I guess I agree to disagree, I guess, because I just don't think it's realistic for NFL players to get guaranteed contracts as much as the extent, I would say, as NBA players do it. I think partially. Yeah,
that's all it is.
I would agree with you there. That's fair. That's common ground, guys. This is how you debate in America. It's you go nicely. This is how you get it done. I'm just shouting out a specific person in the political sphere. That's all I'm going to say. But anyway, here, the Colts and the Lions. 41-21. I was surprised. They blew the doors off the Lions. Phillip Rivers did specifically. What did you see from this game in general, and what does it mean, I guess, for the Lions moving forward, especially with Matt Stafford now going on the COVID-19 list for the second time this season?
Yeah, well, I just want to say my boy David just got signed onto the team. He's a quarterback from Connecticut. We played together in Canada for a little bit.
Spindell?
Yeah, he has an arm on him.
You know what's funny? I used to have an editing page a few years ago, and I posted this Stephon Gilmore edit, and Gilmore liked it. And I was going bananas. I was going crazy. I was like fanboying all over the place. And then David Spindell liked it, and I was like freaking out. I was like, oh, he's verified. He liked my post. I was freaking out. I researched the guy. That's a small world. But keep going. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you.
No. I'm just saying. Shout outs to my guy, man. He's a hard worker. That boy throws the ball so hard. Like it's ridiculous, but he's a great guy. But no, the Colts 41-21, like they showed up and showed out, especially your boy Jordan Winkins. Like he came out there 20 attempts for 89 yards and a touchdown. He showed out for sure. Nyheim Hines, he was out there. He contributed a little bit. And Jonathan Taylor, 11 for 22. These guys are a running back committee. They played their part. I think personally is what helped set the tone for Phillip Rivers to be able to go out there and throw the ball.
Definitely. And I think that's pretty much all you need to say on that game, to be honest with you. I mean, I think it was like Detroit just had a bad down game, a bad game. And it just wasn't pretty to watch either. And what sucks about this next game, it was boring as fuck too. 16-6 final score. Vegas takes the win over Cleveland. 16-6. God, I hate that score. Is that scoregami? Has that happened before? You know what scoregami is?
No, for sure it has. For sure it has.
It has.
I want to say I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to take too long trying to think of it, but I do remember a game just being so low in scoring. Maybe it was the Patriots. I don't know.
Oh, stop it. Dude, I know. The funny thing is, I bought into that for a minute. I thought you were actually going somewhere with that. Shit. Okay. Woo. All right, shake it off, Joe. That hurt the ego a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought I was smarter than that. Anyway, here a little bit, yeah. Anyway, 16-6 final score. Derek Carr, 15-24, 111 yards in the score. My guy Josh Jacobs, who was carrying my fantasy team. Thank you very much, Mr. Jacobs. 31 carries, 129 yards. Should have had a score there, but I guess John Gruden doesn't like to pay you in the red zone.
That's because he wants his money.
Exactly. That's exactly what he wants. And then Darren Waller led the way, receiving for 5 receptions for 27 yards. But this game was just so boring. Baker Mayfield continues to stink it up all over the field. This Cleveland team has quickly gone, in a lot of people's eyes, from contenders to pretenders, as they always will be with Baker Mayfield at the helm, because you cannot give a better cast of guys to a player and have him stink it up this much. You can't do it.
Yeah.
You can't do it. Like outside of say the Chiefs, maybe even Dallas, when it comes to receiving core wise, you really can't get better than Cleveland has, and you're still stinking it up all over the field. 16-6 against the Vegas Raiders is unacceptable in my mind. The goddamn Patriots put more points up than you did against Vegas, and they actually won the game. So that's all I have to say about that game. But just, God, Cleveland, be better. This should just be. I thought this was over. I thought we were done making fun of Cleveland. I thought this was finally like a year where you don't have to make fun of them anymore. But no.
It's like a Ferris wheel. He just keeps on coming around, you know what I'm saying, showing you a flash here or there, and then he disappears for a while, and he comes back around. You know, it's terrible. You're talking about Landry 4 for 52, Harrison Bryant 3 for 25, David Njoku is a baller, bro.
He's just like an athlete.
A freak.
He's just an athlete.
If you've ever seen him in person, he looks like a wide receiver.
No, Chris, we're best friends, actually. I saw him last week. No, I didn't see him in person.
Dude is a freak, and we're not what? A total of 12 catches and 122 yards?
Yeah, he's a monster. He is. He's a monster. But that begs the question, where the hell is Austin Hooper? You're paying that guy a lot of fucking money. He's nowhere to be found. Nowhere.
Yeah.
Where the hell is he?
Well, I think I don't know. I don't know
either. Where the hell is he? Again, Cleveland failing in the free agency market. What are the odds that Cleveland fires their head coach, whatever the hell his name is, the Minnesota Vikings offensive coordinator? You think it's high?
It's like every year is a new court. It's a new.
And it's funny because they're
coach.
And they're 5-3. It's not a bad record by any standard. But only Cleveland can get a coach fired at 5-3 midway through the year.
Have you ever seen their quarterback jersey?
What do you mean?
So it's a store in Cleveland that I visited when I was out there. And they have a quarterback jersey that says number 1, for their number 1 draft pick quarterbacks.
Tim Couch.
And I kid you not, it is every name that they drafted in the first round, and they got them X'd out. And it goes all the way down the one side of the jersey with every name, and then it's starting on the right side, and it's a couple names on that side, and every one of them first round draft pick X out. Tim Couch X'd out. That's my guy though, Tim Couch. Shout outs to you, bro.
Actually,
But
this will be like a fun little mini game. Let's see how many wins we can get. We'll have our new intern count this up. Right.
Yeah, right, man. I'm just like he got to pull it up. Whoever it is, they need to pull up that jersey.
All right, we'll have it above us or something. We'll have it right. It's above us right now. All right, ready? Here we go. We'll go back and forth. Whoever loses first. That's the bet. All right. I'll go first. All right. Tim Couch.
Johnny Manziel.
Jake Delhomme.
Damn, that was who I wanted to get. Colt McCoy.
Seneca Wallace.
Baker Mayfield.
Damn. Okay. Brian Hoyer.
Yeah, you got me. That was mine right there, and I'm lost after that one.
I'm gonna see if I can keep going. Jason Campbell, Colt McCoy, Brock Osweiler.
Damn, Brock Osweiler?
Brock Osweiler, yeah. Brock Osweiler. I'm forgetting another guy. What's his face?
It sounds like you're a Browns fan as well.
No, I'm an NFL historian.
Keep up with the Browns, huh?
I'm an NFL historian, Chris. That's how I got my job here. I got one more in me. Come on, Joe, you can do this. Garrett Gilbert, I guess he was a backup. Doesn't really count.
I was about to say.
Josh McCown.
Yeah,
Robert Griffin III. RG3. Robert Griffin III. I'm on fire.
No, Robert Griffin didn't get drafted there.
No, I'm saying he started there though. That's the whole list. I'm pretty sure. I think it's just like starting quarterbacks. Yeah.
Sure.
That's all I have in me. That was pretty good though. That was pretty good though.
Yeah. No, you got you a couple off.
Yeah, but damn, that's tough for Cleveland. I gotta say, that's tough for Cleveland. And obviously, I'm spoiled.
You see this jersey, bro. You gonna be amazed as well. Like,
I mean, I don't want to go to Cleveland like ever. Like, I'll go. Like, I don't want to go to Cleveland. Like, will I ever see it in person? Maybe. Well, I guess we'll go when we go to the Hall of Fame for our contributions to sportscasting. I guess when we end up getting inducted, we'll probably go there anyway. But it's whatever. But we're so cocky. Jesus. Anyway, here the Bengals and the Titans here. 31-20 final score. Joe Burrow, my man,
pulled it off.
Takes down Tennessee in a shocking win. Giovanni Bernard is the star of the day with 2 touchdowns, 1 through the air, 1 on the ground here.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, Chris, I got one question. It's like what happened? Like Derrick Henry is supposed to run all over this Bengals defense. What the hell happened?
They done figured it out. They watched Pittsburgh, which is a good team to watch, and they put hats on the ball. That's the best way to stop anybody. I don't know why teams allow especially like new players to come in who's ripping the first 3 games and allow them to keep going throughout the year when it's like we know the recipe. When somebody is balling, you put hats on the ball. If it's a wide receiver, a running back, a quarterback, it doesn't matter. Put hats on the ball. You're gonna be successful, which pretty much is like what Pittsburgh did to the Ravens with Lamar Jackson just this past week. So they made sure they got to him, and that's what they did. That's what they did for your boy, and it shows that it's a successful ingredient to winning a game for sure.
For our Madden enthusiasts who don't really, know a lot of football talk, putting hats on the ball means engage 8. That's what it means. You just rush everyone. You rush everyone and make Ryan Tannehill beat you.
Not one person it shouldn't be one person on the ball. It needs to be at least 4 or 5 people.
You got at least like one high safety, maybe 2 guys playing deep coverage on the sides, but that's about it. You're rushing everyone. You're going in on the run, and that's
it'll put pressure on your DBs though for sure. So you gotta pray that they can really cover. But other than that, yeah, it's a good formula.
I think it speaks volumes about Ryan Tannehill though. That's the one thing I'm talking about though, because this has been shown the past few weeks as the recipe for success. What now, Chris? What did I do?
Go ahead. I just want to hear you. I just want to hear what you about to say.
Well, you stop me. You don't want to hear me. You just want to scoff at me.
Yeah, because it messed me up because it already sounded like you was going down the wrong path of where I'm thinking about with Ryan Tannehill.
Oh, I'm just saying Ryan Tannehill is the weakness of this team.
See, that's what I'm talking about, Joe. Like, you just make stuff
Is Derrick
up.
Henry the weakness of this team?
Is Derrick Henry the weakness of this team? This last
Like,
week, you were just talking about. You was just praising Ryan Tannehill.
That's a lie.
Now it's back down to
roll the film. I did not say that. I gave him his due credit when credit's due. I did the same thing with Baker Mayfield.
Where's my notebook at, man?
You can take your notebooks all you want. Review the film,
notebook, bro. Because I wrote this stuff down, bro. This dude he's been progressing every week since this season has started, and you keep on shitting on Ryan Tannehill, and he keeps on doing better.
Okay,
just because you have a bad game doesn't mean that you just go back down to being bad. Like, no, you just had a bad game.
I've been consistent about this. I'm not a Ryan Tannehill fan. I've been consistent. I've given his due credit when credit's due. When he throws 4 touchdowns, it's a great game. I say that on air. But I've been consistent. I don't think he's a great quarterback, and it shows in these type of games when Derrick Henry gets shut down, especially against teams like Pittsburgh, and he just can't win the game by himself. And that's acceptable to say. I think it's a normal thing to say, isn't it? Wouldn't you say the same thing? What's your contention about Ryan Tannehill?
I think Ryan Tannehill is doing a great job out there. He's
why couldn't he?
The ball. You said what?
I said, then why couldn't he win against Cincinnati's defense or Pittsburgh?
You have bad games, Joe. Like, it just happens, bro. Like, it literally just happens. Corey Davis is 8 for 128 yards and a touchdown off of 10 attempts. Like, come on, bro. Like, you can't don't just sit up there and act like he's not throwing the ball or managing the game well. Things just happen. You have bad games. Look at Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has just had another bad game where I literally been talking about this guy is the best quarterback in the NFL, in NFL history. And now I turn around and I watched him this week throw 2 balls in the ground. Like, it was right there. He threw 2 balls in the ground. You have bad games. That doesn't just turn you. You don't just turn around and be like, all right, he's weak now. Like, no, that doesn't happen. You just have bad games.
All right, point taken. But don't you ever compare Ryan Tannehill and Aaron Rodgers on the show ever again. Point taken, but don't do that again. I'll give you that one, but do not do it again. Next game here. And all right, I'm going to be honest with you, Chris. I had a tough Sunday because the Patriots – I know all this stuff going on Sunday. Well, first of all, I'm broke. If you guys didn't know, I'm completely broke. I don't have any money because my loans were all in cash this year. I paid all my summer money out, so I have like $10 to my name right now. My car needs an oil change. We're 2,000 miles over, and it's 20 years old, so that thing's gonna break soon. And then the Patriots lost, and we're in a pandemic. If you guys didn't know about that too, so yeah, I'm having a tough time right now. On Sunday, at least 24-21 is the final score here. And New England's in a position to win the game for the second straight week in the fourth quarter. And even more so than last week, because now you get the ball, you're under a minute, you have two timeouts left, you're in field goal range already, and you run Cam Newton 4 fucking times in a row, then he fumbles the ball. When you have a guy like Damian Harris right next to you, who, again, I'll say it again, he split carries with Josh Jacobs at Alabama for a reason.
Yeah,
is showing to be an elite running back right now. He's had, I think, 300-yard games this season in, I think, 6 games. Why not run that guy? If you're going to run the ball, run the guy that's actually winning you the football game. Like, I don't understand that logic from Bill Belichick at all. Actually, not Bill Belichick. I think Josh McDaniels is probably more to blame on that front in general. But it's like, dude, like, run Damian Harris. Like, just don't be stupid. I mean, that's all I'm going to say. Bills, great play at the end of the game. You made the play. That's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Shout out to that defensive tackle, that was an athletic play by any standard. Any D lineman that can get around the edge of Cam Newton and poke that out, you have my respect. You do. But just a tough loss for New England, and you got to be better. You had the Jets on Monday. If you lose to the Jets, I got a problem. If we lose to the Jets, I got a serious problem.
Hey, if you lose to the Jets, maybe you need to put a Jets jersey on as well. Oh, God. Because I'm still waiting for my 49ers
jersey. Oh,
shit. To put on. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It's gonna sound like bullshit, but I swear to God, I'm telling the truth. I was at home because I was selling a lot of my jerseys because, like I said, I'm broke, so I was trying to get some money for some of my jerseys. And Terrell Owens is literally sitting right on. I have it hung up against my bed, like on a thing. I was like, why do I keep looking at that jersey? I'm like, do I have to remember something about that? I'm like, no, I'm good. And then I drove home this morning for my class, and I'm like, shit, you just reminded me about it. That's on me. I'll wear it at Thanksgiving. I'll do that. I'll wear it at Thanksgiving.
That's a good one.
I'll pose with the turkey as a concession thing for you. How about that? That work with that? Are we cool?
Yeah, I'm with that. I'm just over here looking at Cam Newton throw the ball on the ground.
Yeah, so you guys are gonna love this story too. So I think it was either Sunday afternoon or Monday morning, maybe. I got a text from Chris thinking, probably we're talking about some logistics for the show or a guest or something. He's like, in case you didn't see this, and it's just Cam Newton fumbling on a GIF over and over again. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. You've been salt in the wound, dude. And you're my guy, but like that was so shit. That was so bad. That was so bad.
Hey, I know that made you mad because I was like, oh my God. I can't believe he did that.
On a Monday,
I know Joe was over there screaming at the TV.
Well, I was watching the game with my girlfriend. I'm like, we're watching the game on our bed or our couch or whatever. And the game, like the fumble happens. I just turn my computer off. I just I go mute for like 20 minutes. I'm like in a fetal position, and she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "I'm not okay. I'm really not okay." But yeah, no, it was a tough bid for the Patriots on Sunday. But 2-5, and this might sound like bias to you, but they're not a 2-5 team. I mean, like, you look at it this way, right? You're in a position to win the.
What are they, Joe?
Well, they're 2-5 technically record-wise, obviously, but I'm saying in terms of playing ability, are they really a 2-5 football team? Let's look at the stats here. I mean, look at the Bills and the Patriots, right? They have a chance to win the game at the end of the game, right? And granted, good teams don't turn the ball over one, and good teams execute in crunch time. So that's 2 strikes already. But they're in a position to win the game, right, against Buffalo. So that's fine, right? Moral victory week 2 against Seattle. You put up a great effort and you lose on the last play of the game, right? That's a moral victory too, right? So that's a close game with one of the best teams in the league, right? So that's fine. That's a fine.
About losing on the 1 yard line. If you want that, go ahead.
Exactly. You would know all about that, wouldn't you? Anyway.
Fuck you.
That was a good one. Come on, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
Anyway, and then you have the Chiefs game where the Patriots, they held them to 6 points, and you have a chance with Brian Hoyer, and nobody really saw that coming. So when you look at those 3 games specifically, it's like they're against pretty good teams with pretty good players. You lose by a small margin every single time. You're playing them close. Is it possible for New England to turn around? I think so. Is it likely? I guess we'll have to wait and see. They still have to play 2 games against the Jets, 1 more game against the Bills, another game against Miami, who's red hot right now. At 2-5 in the division, they can still stick into a wild card spot, especially with the expanded AFC and NFC playoff format coming into effect this year. I wouldn't be surprised to see them make the playoffs, squeak in as the second wild card against all odds. But I mean, just keep the faith if you're in New England. Don't quit yet.
You sound like a Cowboys fan. Like, oh, we really should be. We really should. Like, no, I don't want to hear it. Like, you're losing. You're 2-5. You lost to the Bills, who the Bills is going to end up taking over that division and being the lead horse for years to come until you come up with some better talent or some better coaching. One of the two. I feel like it's a mixture of both, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm looking at Cam Newton right now. He's still running around, still looking youthful, but throwing the ball in the dirt, plays is not going the way that it's supposed to be going. You're running stretch plays when you need to be running downhill with Harris. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just too much. It's too much going on right now. They don't look like they're the Patriots that we're accustomed to seeing, who's always in sync.
Definitely. And I think a lot of that has to do with the COVID opt-outs. A lot of team captains like Patrick Chung and Dante Hightower aren't there. Brandon Bolden as well. They're just locker room leaders that kind of set the tone and set the culture for a lot of these teams. And now you look at it, right? Bill Belichick, in a very anti-Belichickian way, has been polar opposite of what he's been in the past 20 years. We've had sloppy penalties. You've had delay of game. You've had 10 men on the field on defense multiple times during the year. You've had holding penalties. You've had games that shouldn't be – or not games, penalties that should not be happening to a Bill Belichick-led roster. So it begs the question, is this year done? It could be, but don't count them out just yet. That's all I ask. Don't count them out yet. And honestly, Chris, you should not count out Bill Belichick ever. Ever. You should never do it because they've been doing it for the last 10 years. And look what happened. 3 championships.
Yeah, with Tom Brady.
Agreed. Fair enough. Hey, they went 11-5 with Matt Castle. The only team that went 11-5 in NFL history not make the playoffs. I'm just saying it's possible. It's possible. Okay. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Anyway, here the Chargers and the Broncos here. 31-30 is the final score. Denver beats out Justin Herbert in the Red Heart Chargers. Drew Lock has now beat Cam Newton and Justin Herbert's 2 out of 3 weeks. Wow. That was my impression. Just wow. It was a high-scoring game, and I really thought the Chargers were better than this. I don't think Denver's defense is anything to write home about anymore. I don't think they're that hallmark defense you saw in 2013, 2014. And just, I was just surprised. What were your impressions of this game, and what does it mean for, I guess, Justin Herbert's stock for Rookie of the Year?
It definitely hurts it, but I feel like, with the rest of the season with the rest of the season, he's gonna put up some numbers that's gonna help solidify his Rookie of the Year candidacy. But overall, I mean, I knew that Denver was gonna come out and make some plays because they're a team they're a team that, if you leave them around, they're just gonna find a way to get a win. They're gonna sneak out with a win, and that's exactly what they did. I don't necessarily blame Justin Herbert. He showed what he could do. He's still a rookie, so going for 29 for 40, for 47 is not, that's not great. But he threw for 278 yards and 3 touchdowns and had 2 picks. He's just a guy who's just learning. It was a tough game for him, but I knew that the Denver was a type of, like I said, it was a type of a team that, that fights, is a scrappy team. And if you leave them in the game, they're going to find a way to win the game. And that's exactly what they did.
Most definitely. Yeah. Just a very interesting game. And now with Joe Burrow taking home that W against Tennessee of all teams, and a very handedly victory there. 31-20 was the final score here. It was on a close margin. We're starting to see the Rookie of the Year, candidacy start to bottleneck at the top with Herbert and Burrow going back and forth.
Yeah.
I really wish they played. I don't think they do. I wish they played. Maybe they see them. I mean, on the very, very, very off chance you see them in the playoffs together, but I don't think that happens anyway. But just keeping it out there, it might be the next good young quarterback rivalry in the NFL. You have Lamar Jackson versus Patrick Mahomes. Maybe now you have Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow. That'd be kind of cool to see. Anyway, here, the 49ers and the Seahawks, 37-27 final score here. First of all, haha. Second of all, DK Metcalf might be the best receiver in football.
Yeah.
He might be the best. I say might. He might be the best receiver in football.
Yeah, I don't know about being the best receiver. He's on his way to being one of the best.
I would say he already is one of the best.
It's just hard, bro. I've been, just looking at Twitter and hearing all these, these enthusiasts and analysts and all these people talking about
like us,
DK Metcalf. He's Megatron 2. Like, first off, let's not get it twisted. Calvin Johnson was in a class of his own, for sure.
Yep.
I've never seen anybody get double teamed at the line during an offensive play. Like, not at the line. You catch him down the field, you put a man over the top, put a safety over the top, you put the DB behind him. You try to bottle them in. But no, these guys, literally, the Saints actually put 2 guys on Calvin Johnson at one time trying to stop him, and he still scored. He's jumped over 2 or 3 defenders just to get a touchdown or to get a first down. Like, Calvin Johnson was an animal. But DK Metcalf, he's good, though. Like, he's good. I'm not going to take anything away from him. DK Metcalf is a phenomenal player, especially, for his second year going in. He's showing great strides in being one of the best, but just calling him like Megatron 2.0, that's a bit disrespectful for me. Like, I looked up to Calvin Johnson for sure. That was one of my guys. But not that. That's not him. And especially your guy that you named that's in Pittsburgh, Claypool. Mm-hmm. Call him Mapletron. Like, no. I think
that's more of a play on words than I don't think it's a comparison directly.
Play on words when it comes to people like that.
Fair enough. And
you don't hear nobody going out there playing with Jerry Rice's name or Randy Moss's name. Like, you have to actually do something to get Randy Moss's name even added to the sentence.
Well, I mean, like, when you look at it that way, I mean, like, Jerry Rice's nickname is just the GOAT, right? I mean, he's the greatest receiver of all time, bar none. And then Randy Moss is the freak. You can't really pun that, but you can pun Megatron. So just keep that in mind. I mean, I think it's more about the language than anything.
Hard, man.
No, but I agree with you. But I will say I agree with you there. Calvin Johnson is in a league of his own. And to give some insight here, Chris, first of all, you played tight end in high school, right? Mm-hmm. And you guys roughly the same size, 6'5", roughly like 230-ish, right, when you guys were playing. And just for reference, guys, Chris was an NFL receiver for a long time. He went to a Super Bowl. He dominated in a Super Bowl. Chris, what was your 40 time?
4.5.
4.5. Calvin Johnson ran a 4.3.
Yeah.
At the same size. That should not be humanly possible. That literally should not be happening. And the only reason people draw those comparisons between Calvin Johnson and Megatron is because DK Metcalf did the same thing. That's the only reason why. Because the measurables are similar. And you can't deny that they're similar. But in terms of like jump ball ability, Calvin Johnson will always have that title. The one play I go to is the Bengals. Yeah. They had one guy in the line press. They had two zone stages over the top. Matt Stafford chucks it up. He catches a Hail Mary in the end zone over three guys single coverage. I mean, it's just unbelievable. He will never be matched with that. I'm with you 100%.
He never. But Calvin Johnson didn't get Megatron until his fourth, fifth season in the game. Like, we're already trying to give this guy this tag in his second year. Like,
yeah,
I know he's doing good. Trust me, I know he's doing good. I have him on my fantasy, and I love him even more on the Seahawks helping out Russell Wilson. But not at your second year, like that. It just sounds to me, what it sounds like is we got to have something to stir the pot for everybody. Let's just stir the pot and allow people to start, like us, to start talking about it and cause a commotion. You know, I like I said, I like him a lot. DK Metcalf is bar none one of the best in the league right now, but giving him that title is not going to come out of my mouth.
Yeah, it's just funny. You say like people, and you say the Twitter analysts, like that's us. That's basically who that's us. Yeah. That's us. It's fine. We admit it at least. Like, it's fine. But DK Metcalf on the day, 12 receptions on 15 targets, 161 yards and two scores. And for the umpteenth time in this podcast, he's bigger, stronger, and faster than you. It doesn't matter what corner you are, what safety you are, bar none across the board. He will have all three over you, and that should not be happening by any standard, any measure of the game. That should not be happening, but it is. And he's just a freak of nature. So, and one thing with the 49ers before we move on here, Jimmy Garoppolo and George Kittle go down, both going IR. George Kittle breaks a bone in his foot. Jimmy Garoppolo goes down again with yet another injury. I think it was his knee. I'm not really sure. High ankle sprain. Okay. I've heard some rumors around that you actually alluded to it earlier in the year, or earlier in the episode, I should say, that San Fran's considering dumping Jimmy Garoppolo in the offseason because of contract. And I heard a rumor mill around New England today because I'm connected a little bit. Mm-hmm. And the Patriots are interested in bringing back Jimmy Garoppolo, home. I think it makes sense. I think it makes a lot of sense. Maybe like a 2-year or like a 1-year prove-it deal or something like Bill Belichick's prioritized in past years. That could be beneficial to both sides. And even I would argue that Jimmy Garoppolo would be even a better fit to stay long-term with New England, because you look at the stats here, and the reason why San Francisco even gave a second-round pick in the first place is because Garoppolo showed a great knowledge of the offensive system in New England. Granted, they had a lot more weapons at that time. Edelman was in his prime. Amendola was still balling. LeGarrette Blount was one of the best power running backs in the NFL. Underrated part of that dynasty, by the way. Underrated. Yeah. LeGarrette Blount, blunt force trauma, that dude was a beast for us.
Yes, he was.
Beast. People don't talk about that enough. He had Gronk, still had Chris Hogan. It was a deep roster for him to work with, granted. Mm-hmm. But still, it speaks volumes when you have the ability to understand and produce in one of the most complex systems in football, period, bar none. That's what the Patriots have.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the reasons why they're willing to bring him back in, because he understands the work ethic that you need to be successful in that offense. And he learned from one of the best, a guy that you guys are hurting for right now, Tom Brady. Just having him out there, I don't care if it was for a year, 2 years, like it would be way better than what's going on right now. And it's hard, it's sad to say that, because I'm a huge fan of Cam Newton. I really thought at the beginning of this year that he was going to come back with a vengeance and have an MVP type of a career. I mean, type of a season, but it's just not panning out that way right now for him.
Yeah, not as of late, but who knows? Again, maybe a comeback, but not MVP comeback. I'll tell you that right now. Anyway, you never know. I guess you're right. Sunday Night Football stunk. Cowboys Eagles 23-9 final score. Ben DiNucci makes his first NFL start for Dallas. Andy Dalton, not only is he concussed, but he has COVID. That's a double whammy that I've never seen before. I can't lie to you. But I mean, it goes the way you expect. Philadelphia takes care of business, moves to 3-4-1, leading the division, which still doesn't make any sense to me. The NFC least is on par here. But even so, the Eagles almost lost this game. A lot of the time in the first half, especially even the third quarter, the Cowboys had a shot to win this game. And Carson Wentz just did not help himself at all. He's continuing his just very, very average year. He's had some up and downs. He's had some roller coaster performances. He's gone really high in some regards, very low in a lot of regards. Not all his fault, obviously. His offensive line is obviously giving him a lot of trouble. Sacked 6 times in 3 different games. That should not be happening to anybody. Huge problem. But does it excuse what's happening in their offense? I would say no. I think the majority of the blame is on Carson Wentz, and whether or not he can actually figure it out remains to be determined. But as of right now, Philadelphia's in the driver's seat. What are your impressions from this game? Not that really, I mean, to be honest with you, there's not really any impression from this game for me. But maybe what it affects the NFC East down the line in terms of seeding.
I mean, I'm not really sold on Philadelphia. They didn't really show me anything, especially with the 2 picks that that Carson went through. It doesn't make sense for me personally to see somebody like Carson Wentz, who everybody was comparing him to Joe Montana and all these great guys, which is goes back to my point again about DK Metcalf and giving him the tag of Megatron. Like, you giving these dudes like these kids listen to this, like they register this in their head, and it goes in their head, and they're like, okay, now I'm bigger than Who Shot John. You know what I'm saying? Like, that stuff really matters. And when you're playing that and you're putting that in their head, then you come up with games like this, like Carson Wentz has had. Like, even though he was hurt, he's been hurt a couple times, especially one traumatic injury that nobody wanted to see, with him. But it's just been a lot of highs and lows, man, and it's not something that I would pay somebody $100 million for. But they did that, and they got to live with it. What are they? What
3-4-1?
Like,
but if they're winning,
and Dallas is 2-6. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're right there.
Yep, fair enough.
It doesn't make sense to me. The whole Eastern Conference, period, is just hard to fathom, to be honest with you.
Definitely, I agree with you there. You talk about paying him $100 million. Wouldn't it be nice to be in a position to pay a guy like Carson Wentz $100 million? To be that rich, just throw that money in the garbage. Wouldn't that be so nice? That'd be so nice.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, I'd take it.
I'd take it too.
I'd take it.
Anyway, shout out to Chris's daughter, by the way. I don't know if you can hear her in the background. Final game of the week here. Monday Night Football, Giants and Bucks. Final score 25-23. Tom Brady takes his 6th victory of the NFL year, improves to 6-2 on the year here. Brady throws a couple touchdown passes. Actually, Daniel Jones had a pretty good game in his own right against one of the elite defenses in the NFL. 25 of 41, I should say. 256 yards, a couple scores, but a couple interceptions that ended up costing him the game here. Typical young quarterback trying to take over the game, trying to do too much for his team without a run game. Ended up costing him. But exciting game. I think Tom Brady has a lot of respect for Daniel Jones and moving forward. I think Bruce Arians does too. He talked about him glowingly after the game here. I have one thing to say about this game. Only one thing at all. Was that pass interference at the end of the game?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I would say so too. Right. All right. I have a separation here. You agree with pass interference, but do you agree with the no call?
Yes, I do. Because like I've always said before, you never want to put it in the referee's hands. And that's something that I've always been taught. and I'm pretty sure it's being taught, universally around the NFL, and things like that happens. But for me, honestly, the player of the game for me is JPP. Like that guy was out there causing a ruckus. Now, granted, it was the Giants. I understand that, but nonetheless, they're all professionals, and he showed why he is one of the best defensive players on that team, especially with a limited amount of fingers. You know what I'm saying?
I was going to say the 9-finger wonder right there, JPP.
Yeah. Like the guy shows why he's one of the best in the NFL. He stood out the most to me, and I was trying to pay attention. I wanted to pay attention more to Gronk and see what he was going to be able to produce that game. But every time I look at it, he just showed up. And there was especially one where Ronald Jones was not Ronald Jones, but
Wayne Gallman.
The quarterback's name. Say it again.
Wayne Gallman.
Wayne Gallman. Yeah, he's catches a screen down the left side of the field, and JPP rushes the quarterback, turns, swim moves an offensive lineman, and saves a potential first down, what could have put them in position to get in position to win a game. But JPP comes in and dives, makes a tackle, saves the first down, and they're off the field. Like that was something to me that really stood out to me, and made the game, change the game in his own aspect.
I miss the honeycomb thing he used to wear. Like, earlier in the year, he used to tape it up, make it a club kind of after his finger got blown off, and he was using it as like a beehive. Looked kind of like he was just swimming around with that thing. It was fun. I want to bring that back. That'd be kind of cool. He kind of took it off. That wraps up week 8 for Stafford and Matthews here. Teams on bye for the week were the Cardinals, the Washington football team, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Houston Texans. On to week 9 already, almost actually now officially over halfway done with the NFL year. First of all, thank you guys for listening so far halfway through the year. We appreciate that a lot. We're gaining traction. We're getting a lot of attention. It's exciting. Stay with us. A lot of big things on the way. A lot of guests on the way. We actually had a last-minute cancellation today. We're supposed to have Matthew Judon of the Baltimore Ravens on today, but unfortunately he's on the COVID-19 list. Could not participate in the interview today, unfortunately, but maybe we'll have him on soon in the next week or so. Week 9, NFL season. Here we go. Thursday Night Football. And I wish everyone was healthy for this game, but they're not. The Packers and the Niners, rematch of the NFC Championship game from just a year ago. I'm going Green Bay because there's not a shot Nick Mullins outduels Aaron Rodgers after losing to Kirk freaking Cousins. That's all I'm going to say.
It always pains me to see this. My Niners is always going up against somebody who I know is good, but Green Bay's defense is hurting right now, and I'm pretty sure that that's going to be the main focus for this game this week for the 49ers. So I don't care who's back there. Nick Mullins, he's going to be a great game manager. Hand the ball off, and I see it happening right now. Hasty probably comes out with 2 touchdowns this week. So I'm going to go with the Niners. I'm sticking with the Niners.
I love free wins. They're my favorite present ever. They're awesome. I love it.
We'll see.
Panthers Chiefs here. Kansas City. I mean, this just shouldn't be a game either. KC takes this W easily, even if Christian McCaffrey comes back.
Absolutely. They're taking it. Even if he does come back, he's not going to be healthy enough to make the plays that he was making before he got hurt. So it's not going to be enough. I'm going with Kansas City.
Definitely here. For some reason, my phone's all over. Here we go. Baltimore and Indianapolis, both 5-2, surprisingly, and definitely 2 different types of football teams. Mm-hmm. Interesting dynamic, whether or not those 2 will mesh together or mesh against each other, whether or not it'll be a shootout or not. I'm going with Baltimore here because I cannot, in my good right mind, pick Phillip Rivers to outdo Lamar Jackson. I can't do it.
I'm actually going to go with Indy on this one. It's a couple reasons why. One of them mainly is because Marlon Humphreys is on COVID. Matthew Judon is on COVID. Pretty much their whole defense is on COVID restrictions right now. So I'm definitely going to go with Indy pulling this game out.
Fair enough. Giants and the Washington football team. Oh, God. Why did they give us this game? Why?
Hey, I'm going Washington right now.
Washington?
I'm going with Washington.
I'm going with the Giants just for shits and giggles. For shits and giggles, I'm going with the Giants. I think Daniel Jones actually played a good game against Tampa Bay against an elite defense.
He did.
And you know what's not elite? The Redskins defense. I'm going with Daniel Jones and the Giants.
Neither is the Giants.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say. Actually, no. I guess you're right. I guess so. Yeah. That works. That's fine.
Neither one of them is great.
Here we go. The Bears and the Titans. This is going to be so happy. I'm going with the Titans here to blow the doors off the Bears, show how fraudulent they are at 5-3. I cannot wait to watch this game live. I'm going with Tennessee.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard game. I think that the Bears' offense is actually pretty good against a subpar defense with the Titans. And then it also depends on is Derrick Henry coming out to play? That's going to be the main question, and is the defense going to be able to stop him? I think I might go with the Bears. I'm going with the Bears.
Okay, Lions Vikings here, and Kirk Cousins is hot off of a win against Aaron freaking Rodgers, a big divisional win, I will say as well. And now they plays the Lions without their starting quarterback Matthew Stafford. No brainer. I'm going with the Vikings here.
Yeah, I'm going with the Vikings as well. Kenny Golladay is hurt as well. He's questionable, so I don't know if he's going to be 100% to play as well. I'm going with the Vikings.
All right, we got next in the docket. Why does my phone keep doing this? I got a new screen protector. It's messing my whole day up. Texans and Jaguars here, both on bye last week. And this shouldn't be I don't think it's going to be close either. I'm going with Houston here. I think Deshaun Watson continues to ball out. He has the past few weeks here. And our guy, Randall Cobb.
Yep.
I think 2 touchdowns this game.
Ooh, that's plug number 3.
Literally, the trifecta.
Well. I'm going to Houston as well. I think they're going to come out balling this week, keeping everything going.
Seahawks Bills 6-1 versus 6-2. And I really wish this game was earlier in the year when Josh Allen was hot. This would have been a phenomenal football game. I'm going with Seattle. If the Bills were going to lose to New England before a game-clinching fumble, there's not a shot Seattle is even close to this team. I'm going with the Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm going with the Seahawks as well. Seahawks is just is a well-oiled machine right now, and even though the Bills is coming off of this win, it's still not going to be enough.
Definitely. The Broncos and the Falcons. 3-4 versus 2-6. The Broncos are red hot, but the Falcons have won their last bout against the Carolina Panthers. Tough call, but I'm gonna go with Denver because I do think that Matt Ryan will choke the game away.
Dang, I thought we was gonna separate right there. I'm going with Denver as well, man. I just told you, they are a scrappy team. If you put them in a position to where they're hanging on to the game, they're gonna find a way to win. That's been their whole motto this whole season. So I'm going with Denver.
And this is the Stafford and Matthews guarantee. You can Drew lock this game up. Oh, I hate myself. I hate myself.
Leave that to you.
Anyway, here the Raiders and the Chargers, 4-3 versus 2-5. I'm going with Herbert. I think he's pissed about losing this game against Drew freaking Lock and the Broncos. He comes back with a vengeance here. And the Raiders really had a cakewalk last week against the Browns. Only 6 points scored on the board here. I think they come out throwing, hucking the ball downfield. I think Keenan Allen has a tremendous game. I'm going with LA. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Keenan Allen is going to have a great game, but I'm going with Vegas. Vegas, to me, they look like they're a team that's still itching to find that streak to go for them. Mm-hmm. And Carr, especially Derek Carr, he's a guy who's a little bit more feistier now. I don't know if that's because of John Gruden. He wants him to be like him, things like that. But for sure, I'm going with Vegas.
A rematch of one of the best rivalries of the 1970s and 80s. The Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers, 7-0 and 2-6 respectively. It won't be like old times. Pittsburgh's going to wipe the floor with them. It's going to be bad.
That's easy.
And they stay undefeated again for another week. More than halfway through the year, undefeated still. So keep your eye on that.
It's not a long shot.
Nope.
It's not a long shot.
Arizona and Miami. Closer than people realize. Because Kyler Murray tends to play poorly against bad teams, which is interesting. He plays down to his competition almost. Mm-hmm. I have to go with Kyler Murray and the Cardinals just for fantasy reasons, but don't be surprised if Miami actually makes this a football game.
No, I believe it. I believe Miami's going to make it a game for sure. Are they going to be able to stop the passing attack? I don't know. That's something that they've been hurting with. The run game is amazing, which is something that's not amazing for the Cardinals. So I think the passing is going to be the bigger part of the fight. So I'm definitely going to go with the Cardinals.
An early rematch, actually, that's fine. An early rematch of an earlier game this year. The Saints and the Buccaneers, 6-2 and 5-2, respectively here. Antonio Brown's debut is expected to be on Sunday Night Football at 8:20. Should be a great game. But I think the Bucs walk away with this game pretty handedly. I'm going to go with the Bucs here and Tom Brady.
Yeah. I don't know. Because I was just watching, I was just looking up some stuff on ESPN, and I found this quote that Bruce Arians has said about Kamara. And he said, he said, I coach Marshall Faulk, and this guy is scarier, talking about Kamara. So it lets you know that he is most definitely trying to stay focused on that defensive side for his team more than his offensive side. And it might actually work for him because he has so many weapons on Tampa's side that he might be able to focus a little bit more on that defense because Kamara is lighting it up over there. But I think Tampa will pull this game out.
Respect to the guy who actually coached him.
Yeah.
But this is not a shot he's better than Marshall freaking Faulk. Marshall Faulk's a first-ballot Hall of Famer that carried one of the greatest offenses in league history. There's not a shot.
He's not better, but he's scary, though. He is for sure scary.
He's scary.
He's Marshall Faulk-esque.
I guess the same type of guy. You just let him Siri for me. But I guess he's Marshall Faulk-like in the way he can affect the game on both passing and running levels.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's in the same conversation. I guess it's kind of getting off topic anyway. But
he has time to figure for us to determine that.
Fair enough. Monday Night Football, Patriots-Jets, classic rivalry. 2-5 versus 0-6 or 0-8. God, I'm going with the Patriots, and
I'm going with the Jets.
Oh, Jesus.
Where's my president hat at, man? I need to go get my president hat. I need to start supporting my team out here, man. Jets, let's go, baby.
If the Patriots lose on Monday Night Football and I don't show up to class or the show Tuesday, look at my closet. I might be in there. I don't really know. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I will not know what to do.
It's going to be a real nail biter. Like that's the funny part about it is they have the team. Patriots, you guys have the team, but it's still going to be a nail biter. You're going to find some way, somehow, to put this game in the hands of the referee, and it might end up going for my team, the Jets. Let's go, baby.
I might take a bye week from the show next week to avoid the backlash if they lose. I might take the bye week. Anyway, week 9, Stafford and Matthews wraps up here. Our predictions are on the table, laid out. And like we said, we are getting all of our new social media stuff out very, very soon. We are hiring a new one. Me and Chris will be doing interviews sometime this week, I'm sure. We have a couple of candidates in mind right now. So definitely look on the horizon for that. A lot more social media interaction, a couple more Instagram live appearances, and just being more interactive. We want to talk to you guys. We want to be involved with you guys. Absolutely. So just keep your eye on that as well. Shout out to our sponsor, as always, Boston's Big 3 Shop. A lot of great content on there, as always. A lot of new designs on the way. Ty Miller Designs, shout out. Actually making some character designs for Stafford and Matthews, making some caricature designs for us.
Yeah.
They look pretty dope too. Yeah, he's not done yet, but they look pretty good. So maybe we have that on some apparel soon. It's gonna look dope. But anyway, Chris, any final thoughts? No, man. Yeah, man. Just keep checking this out on all streaming platforms, Spotify, YouTube, iTunes. We're everywhere, man. We're just trying to branch out and show the world that, we also know football as well, and we're taking it by storm. And the world might be noticing with some little insider information right there. Stafford and Matthews, leaving it at that. No more. We're not talking about that. Stafford and Matthews, episode 9? Episode 9 in the books. We'll see you guys next time.